Welcome to the 33rd episode of the New England Gal Knits podcast. I am Janet and I live in Massachusetts with my husband, our two boys, our cat, and our dog. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram at the New England Gal. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and if you're a new viewer, welcome to the podcast. I hope you enjoy it. We also have a Ravelry group under the New England Gal Knits podcast, so you can head on over there and check it out. I am running a year-long knit-along, the Finish That Stuff Cal, and basically you just need to finish any works in progress you have from the month before or from anything that you hadn't already started in the current month. So I do have a chatter thread and a finished objects thread open up over there, so go on over and check that out. And I have quite a bit to share, actually a lot more than I thought I would in a week and a half time. So you can probably notice I am wearing one of my finished objects. So this is the Turtledove sweater by Espace Chico, and this is a knit out of Katia Cotton Merino, their Concepts yarn, and I'm going to try and stand and see how well this is showing, but here it is. It's got the split hem at the bottom of the sweater, and I absolutely love the way this fit and it came out. It's the perfect amount of bagginess, and I love the way it falls. The only thing I have to say that I was kind of wish I could have done, well, two things, I guess. I did knit the turtleneck a little bit longer than it called for. You know, I've always been told I have a long neck, and I wasn't thinking straight, so I knit it just a little bit longer. Next time I would love to knit this again in a cream color, and it's just so easy to wear. So I'll knit it for the actual, what the pattern calls for. And the other thing that it's my own fault, again, I switched the length of the neck, and then in the yarn there was this undyed section, which I'm sure you can see clear as day, right across my chest, you know, in a very inconspicuous part. But I wish I had, when I came to it, cut it out and continued on. I ended up with a skein and a little bit left, so I had plenty to play around with, so I shouldn't have been so nervous about cutting this part out. But we live and we learn, and it won't stop me from wearing it. It is just perfect to hang around the house or at work. It's great. I do have to say, because it's kind of that I don't know if drop sleeve is what you would call it, but it's hard to wear a jacket over it or to carry things over your shoulder with it. It kind of hikes it up. But again, for wearing around the house or wearing at work, it's just the perfect sweater, and the yarn is incredibly soft and comfortable. So I absolutely am just thrilled with the way this came out, and it only took me, I want to say, 2.5 weeks, and I could have had it done a lot faster than that if the family hadn't been sick. Thank God we're all doing a much better, knock on wood. I don't have any wood around me. Actually, I shouldn't say that, knock on wood. So that is my first finished object. My second finished object is my February's project for that Finish That Stuff Cal. These socks, and I think every time I have showed these socks on the podcast, I should have put them on the sock blocker, by the way, before starting to film. I ran home from work, because I'm working full-time now, so I quickly ran home from work, threw everything together, and obviously I have no show notes. I'll type those up later, so I'm just winging this on top of everything else. But I think every time these have made an appearance, I have given a completely different date as to when I have started them. I still don't know the exact date when I started them, but I can tell you I started them the weekend that the Avengers Infinity Wars came out, because I started knitting these socks when we went to go see that movie. So anyways, here they are and finally finished, and I've talked so much about them and I won't go into a great detail. And like I said, I will wear them. I like them enough. I'm just not crazy about the yarn I shouldn't say that. I love the way this sock came out and the sock looks. Absolutely love it. This sock, on the other hand, it's too much of a solid green down here for me, and I'm just not crazy about it, but again, I will wear it. And this was knit out of its Cascade yarn Heritage Wave, and the color is 508, and this is what I have left of it, and I'll probably make it into my granny stripe blanket, which I never work on, but I'll use it in there and then I'll be done with it. But I'm just finally glad to have these off of the needles. And like I said, it's been a while since I cast those on, and it's really sad that it took over 6 months to finish a pair of vanilla socks. I wasn't enjoying it at all. So that is it for my finished objects. So my works in progress, I'm going to start off with my socks, and these are being housed out of my Needles Craft project bag, and it's all kind of shoved in here. What a mess. Alright, so these are a pair of vanilla socks. The yarn's all tangled. That is being knit out of Stray Cat's yarn in her Maude colorway. Look at all of this mess here. And I have almost one sock completely finished. I love, 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 love this yarn. It is her Merino Cashmere Nylon Blend, and I am on the toe. I think I have one more round of decreases before I can kitchen off on that. And then I have started the ribbing on the second sock. I'm trying to match it the best I can, and I think I've done pretty well with starting it in the right place. It may be one round longer, but no one will be able to tell because it's on my feet. So I started that, and here it is. It is all balled up, and I have been loving gold and mauve pink colors. I don't know why I've been so attracted to those lately, so this just fits the bill. And these were balled up into 2 separate balls, and I think I had explained when I had started these. My cake winder was not working. It kept jumping off of the winder across the kitchen, getting knotted up. I was not taking it very well. I was not very patient, and my husband, who's normally not the patient one, was calm as anything, and he spent a good 45 minutes to an hour untangling everything and winding it up for me, which I greatly appreciate because I didn't have the patience. I was ready to cut knots out of it and piece it together, and my husband's like, give me time, I'll take care of it. So, this is... And then I've lost complete track. I can hear the dog begging for food right now. Give it a few more minutes and then I'll head into the kitchen to feed him. So the heel is being knit out of, this is Lion Brand Sock Ease, and just in the ivory color. So I am enjoying working on these. This is what Does anyone else have this problem with Magic Loop? It just all gets tangled around the cords when it's in its sack. It's either that or it's because I am a hot mess and I am always getting things tangled. I'm not very graceful. I'm constantly tripping over my feet, dropping things, spilling coffee. I don't know how many of you follow me on Instagram, and I posted it to my story when I'm talking about dropping things and spilling things. I managed last Friday to spill 32 ounces of green smoothie on the inside of my car in the cup holder. It was gross. I got to work early to get some work done, and I spent a good 25 minutes cleaning it up, and I still need to end up doing a little bit more cleaning on the inside of my car. I don't know what I do, and I'm completely off topic, and I'm just going to take a quick sip. I'm drinking a chai latte I had made, but I don't know what I do. But I have coffee stains on the roof of my car. I don't know how it happens, but I can manage it. Anyways, let me get back to works in progress. So I pulled out, again for that Finish That Stuff Cal, a really oldie but a goodie, and it's being housed in my Fringe Supply company bag. Want to say this is probably the oldest sweater I have right now on the needles. I started this, it was my birthday cast on from last year, and so I started this February 2nd of last year. And the thing is, well, as I'm talking about it, I'll explain why I put it away, and I'm so glad I took it back out. But this is my Sunset Highway pullover, and this is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. And I love it. I love the way the colors look. And I'm thrilled with it, and I'm so close. I've got one sleeve, I just completely finished that sleeve. I have another sleeve, which I'm going to point out my mistake, and I keep considering, do I pull it back or do I let it go? And I think I'm just going to let it go at this point because, alright, so for my first sleeve, I don't know. Again, I got till the cuff before I actually put this away. So with the first sleeve, I knit the color work, I had finished knitting it, and then I noticed I did it wrong. So then I tore out the color work and I re-knit it, and then I'm like, great, looks great, continued, finished the sleeve. And then, and you can probably, there's gonna be a ton of mistakes on this, but you know what, I think someone said the other day it wouldn't be handmade if there's no mistakes, and perfection isn't necessarily needed. I'm starting to get to the point where I feel like I've always been a perfectionist, and everything's had to be perfect. And if it's the one thing that knitting has taught me, is that it doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be individual, and I love, you know what, this has a stripe in it, it doesn't matter. I love this sweater, and it's not perfect, but I'm going to just show you all of my mistakes. So I had somehow managed to pull the needles out of this sweater. So you can see kind of here I had issues, and I'm hoping it'll block out. But when picking it back up, then I managed to, at this point, and I think I did, you can kind of see a line right in here where I ended up pulling out the needle again. And I don't mind picking up stitches when it's a plain stockinette, but I struggle picking up purled stitches. I don't know what it is, but I was just I got discouraged, but I managed to finish the sleeve, and it doesn't help. The sleeve's a little tight. I'm hoping when I block it, and I shouldn't say it's not tight, but it's form-fitting, and I like my sleeves a little bit looser. But I got this sleeve done, and I'm like, great. And then I did the color work, followed the chart, working on the color section, and I'm already a few inches in, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at this sleeve, and I'm just gonna hold them up together. The color work's backwards. So the color work on this sleeve is correct. I think I read the chart upside down. Now, this is not my first color work. This is certainly not my first charts, because I've done charts with cables, and I've done charts with pearls, and I've done charts with laces. So I know I need to read it from the bottom up. I think I read it from the top down. I was knitting this sleeve while watching Stranger Things with Ryan, and I obviously was not paying attention. So, because I've already ripped out this color work and was so... I'm trying to find the right word that I want to use. I keep wanting to say disgruntled, but that's not the exact word I want. But I was so frustrated with having to rip out this color work and re-knitting it that the thought of ripping out this color work and doing it backwards, because I'm obviously not fixing this sleeve. I think I keep holding it up, and honestly, it'll be tough. I'm going to block it, but I think I'm going to leave this as it is and just do the bottom color work to make sure it matches this. However, what's your opinion? Do you think I should pull it back, or do you think I should continue? My fear is that if I pull it back, I'm not going to take it back out. I've put this on hibernation many times already, that I think if I put it back, I rip it back, I'm going to get discouraged, and I'm going to discouraged, I think that was the word I was looking for. It's 5:50 at night. I'm exhausted. It's been a busy few weeks, so the boys have had a lot of... I can't think of words today. This is horrible. I apologize for anyone who's watching this. I really, really apologize, but the boys have had a lot of activities. Activities was the word I was looking for. And I haven't been sleeping well, and I don't know what it is, if I'm just suffering from insomnia, but I just haven't been sleeping, and I've been up every hour, and sometimes at work it's even a struggle to get through the morning. Today is Wednesday, February 20th. I keep thinking it's Thursday. Yesterday I kept thinking it was Wednesday. And Monday was such a long day, it felt like it was a whole entire week. So I just obviously can't think of words at all. And then all I keep thinking about, this is me going off on tangents. So I almost didn't podcast again. I found out some of the mothers of my son's classmates found out about the podcast, which is fine. The boys, especially Ryan, they talk about it, whatever. But I guess they were together at one point, and my husband was over there with some of the other mothers planning some stuff for one of the boys' events, and they were talking about my podcast, and they were laughing about it and thought it was silly, and I'm just like, I got really, really embarrassed at first, and I'm an introvert. I am really, really shy and awkward to begin with. So then to think about these people watching the podcast and laughing at me, I'm like, do I really want to put myself through this? And then I've decided, you know what? I enjoy it. I don't care. My friends support me. My family supports me, and that's all that matters. Anyways, now that I've gotten completely rambly, let me go over the colors in the yarn that I am using for this. So the blue is being knit out of a Periwinkle Sheeps. It's her sport base in her Thunderstorm colorway, and I love this yarn. I love this color, and I know it's supposed to be a fingering weight, and this one's a sport and everything else is fingering, but I think it looks okay knit up in the sweater. And I keep looking at her website because I would love a sweater completely in this color. I absolutely love this color blue. It's got that gray base to it, which is my absolute favorite. It's almost similar to the color of my kitchen. And then so for the cream color that's here, and I have this, I'm working on a sock pattern, so I'm not going to quite share that with you, but I have the leftover yarn because I'm done with this color. So this is Moonstone Dyeworks in her Crescent Moon colorway on her BFL sock. The cranberry wine color here is a Knit Picks Cordial, and it's Knit Picks Stroll base in the Cordial colorway. And then the main body is it's 100 Ravens in their Jon Snow colorway on there. It's 100% merino fingering weight yarn, and I joke with my husband because Jon Snow is my absolute favorite Game of Thrones character, and I'm always joking with my husband that I'll be eventually wrapped up in Jon Snow, which I don't think he finds as entertaining as I do, but I think I have a couple friends that can appreciate that comment. So I love it, and I will be so happy once it's done. And like I said, I don't think I'm going to pull apart that sleeve. I think I'm just going to make sure that the bottom color work matches and go from there, because I think if I pull back, I'm not going to finish it. So I am going to continue to pluck away on that. It would be nice if next week this would be a finished object. We'll see how quickly I can get that done. So especially because we have a friend coming this weekend, so I don't know how much knitting I'll have and knitting time I'll have. But that is all of what I have for my works in progress. So I did purchase some yarn that I did want to share with you guys. The first one I had ordered it probably about 4 weeks ago, and I ended up picking up, this is a yarn from the Hey Sister Yarn Company in their shell color, and I have it on their mohair, they call it their fluff base, and then also on their Geronimo base. And I have 2 more of each of these, and these are going to be a no frills sweater, and this color just sings to me. It is a perfect peachy pink. Sometimes I find with the pink, especially with my skin tone, if it's too blue based, it doesn't look good on me. I think this is just my absolute perfect pink. So I am thrilled, and I have so much I have to knit before I can put this on the needles, but that's okay. I'm just absolutely thrilled to have it and know it's going to be in the works. And then my next purchase was from Fabunits, and her stuff, I just absolutely love her items, but she was having a sale a week ago, I think, and anyways, I ended up seeing this. This is a Naked Heat, and this is on her bulky weight, which is a 100% merino wool, and it is so soft, and this is going to be a hat. But no hat is complete without one of her pom-poms. So I picked up this pom-pom to go with it. And I don't know what pattern I'm going to do yet. If anyone has any good bulky weight hat suggestions, let me know in the comments below. But I just, oh my God, it is so soft. It is so soft and squishy. And I love the colors with the browns, and actually there's some of the peachy pink colors. It goes actually really, really well with the shell color. So I am going to be trying to scope out a good hat pattern for it, and yep, I just absolutely love this. And then my last purchase is, I should know better than to go on Instagram right before bed, and then you know, you almost FOMO. I am so not good with terms like FOMO or fear of being left out. FOMO, fear of missing out. So not good. I have to, sometimes my husband will text me something and I literally have to go online and trying to figure it out, like SMH, shake my head. No idea what that was, and it took me forever to figure it out. I am just not up and cool like that. I'm a mother, I'm not supposed to be, I guess. Anyways, I was on Instagram and I saw Amy from Stranded Dyeworks post pictures of her sock sets that were on sale, and I rushed right on over and I picked up this beauty, and this is on her BFL nylon base, and the gray is her gloom color, as well as the yellow is or green, I guess yellow is the limoncello. And I have a pattern design that I'm thinking for this, so we'll see how it turns out. But I love the gray with that huge pop of color, and that is it for everything I've purchased. So other than that, actually last weekend I had a great time, and those that follow me on Instagram would have seen it, but I went out with some girlfriends to this cooking class. We made some Mexican food. We brought our own margaritas, and we made pulled pork tamales and corn with this delicious Mexican cream sauce, topped with the, I want to say queso cheese, but I'm not quite sure that's the right term, but the Mexican crumbly cheese. And then finished it off with some churros and made some homemade salsa. It was so much fun. It was such a great time, and that was one of my friends. Basically all of our birthdays are around the same time, so that was her birthday present to all of us, and there were 6 of us. And we had a blast, and I do have to say, it was so funny. I'm like, stayed up till 10:30, which is way past my bedtime. So on Sunday, I could still be recovering now from Wednesday, but it was so worth it. And this weekend, one of my friends from South Carolina is stopping in, so I cannot wait. I haven't seen her in over a year. We normally see her once a year, but she was in New Jersey, which at least was 3 hours and drivable. Now she's in South Carolina, so it means flying down there, or it's too long of a drive. I don't have the patience to drive that long anymore. But anyway, she is going to be coming up here for the weekend, so I just can't wait to see her. And we're going to do dinner on Friday, and then I am also looking forward to the following weekend, which is going to be my weekend away at the Woods Hole Inn with the Retreat with Nora Gone, so I can't wait for that. So I have 2 very exciting weekends coming up, and I'm sure I will share all about it with you guys. And that is all I have to report on, so I think I am going to end this podcast here. It's dinner time, so I'm going to go ahead and figure out what I'm cooking for dinner for everybody. Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed the podcast. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, and I hope you all have a great few weeks ahead. Bye.